Here's a highlight from a recent episode of Booked on Rock. Our guest is Kathy McCabe, author of the new book, Rock Gods, Icons of Rock Music. I love that Malcolm is in there with Angus Young because Malcolm, a lot of people don't know, unless you're a really hardcore AC/DC fan, he is so important to the AC/DC sound, which I'm assuming, is that why you wanted to put the brothers together rather than just Angus? Because maybe most would just go with Angus because he's the guy. You see, he's the face of the band.
There's no AC/DC without Malcolm. There never could have been. I mean, he was the one who was noodling away on the guitar in the bedroom while, the fans of their brother George were screaming on the front yard in Western Sydney, a couple of suburbs away from where I am now. And Angus was just trying to be as good as him. But the interesting thing was they deviated in their paths of how they wanted to play and how they wanted to construct music. And that was Malcolm went rhythm and Angus went lead. And that, I guess that kind of happened naturally as brothers would, sitting in a bedroom jamming. Well, you're not going to want to play exactly the same thing together. You're going to want to sort of play off each other and inspire and push each other. But Malcolm was the captain of that band, the general, the little general, I think was one of the nicknames that he had. People came and went in that band because Malcolm wanted them to go. He had absolutely no qualms about changing the lineup when he felt that there'd been a clash of personality or somebody wasn't lifting their weight or were going through some tough times themselves with drugs and alcohol. I mean, he famously took himself off for about 8 to 10 months, when the drinking got the better of him and started affecting his playing. And that was the first time Stevie Young, their nephew, joined the band, who now, is permanently there as Malcolm's replacement.
That was in 86, I think, 1986 on the Blow Up Your Video tour.
Yeah. And it's like, obviously the two of them stopped to have a conversation after Bond's death. Do we carry on? Do we fold the band? And it was Bon Scott's family who insisted that he would have wanted them to continue. So, they did their secret auditions, found Brian Johnson, and the rest is history. I saw them a couple of weeks ago here, and despite the fact that there's been, the usual social media pile-on about, perhaps they're not at their best anymore, I took a friend who'd never seen them before, and he was just completely wild. I saw 9-year-old girls with their little flashing horns and their mouths just dropped watching this complete explosion of guitars, drums, and bass, and Johnson doing the best he can with the voice that he's got at his age, 78, I think. And I just don't understand why you would begrudge them doing what they're doing when they're able to do it.
I'm with you. They can do it as long as they want. If nobody's forcing the fans to go, you don't have to buy a ticket.
Well, and it's not the fans who are leading this, time to hang it up call. It's people who haven't even been to the gig who are watching, the dodgy concert footage that we all take on our phones. I mean, it just seems if you're there, the electricity of it is, you can't argue that is worth the price of admission.
Yeah, that's the times we're in now. Everybody's putting up footage online. It's certainly not even close to the same thing. Like I said, it's an experience when you're there. That's great to hear. The younger generation is still loving AC/DC. What's not to love, right? I mean, the songs are just, they hook you in and they never let you go.
And that's the thing about rock music too, I think, and it was notwithstanding, the artists that we've lost, there is this, inexplicable refreshing of the generations with rock music that I think happens far more with this genre than it does with pop or even hip hop. Um, it seems almost to be a rite of passage that, you know, particularly for young Australians, that, you know, guys turn 13, the testosterone kicks in, and they're raiding their parents' AC/DC records.
Oh, that's awesome.
Or In Excess or Midnight Oil or Cold Chisel or whichever, and then, you know, Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, whoever from overseas. And they become real students of the music. They like to dive down the rabbit hole and find, you know, more music, find, you know, interesting information. They're real students of it. And I don't see that happening as much with pop music. Maybe Michael Jackson, but not to the same degree that it does with all of the rock acts.
You're right. Interesting to see what happens regarding Michael. The movie's coming out on Michael, so we'll see what that does for, you know, for his body work. Because I mean, there's a guy who was just what he could do is. I mean, we had in the '80s Prince, Michael Jackson, Madonna. I mean, it's so many huge stars. Whitney Houston. You know, it's amazing how many people, the greatest artists, performers of all time in that decade.
Yeah, but and you sort of see it, I guess, around, you know, anniversaries and things like that. You'll see, you know, a spike that'll happen in you know, streaming or on the charts, where a bit of back catalogue will go back. But you look at AC/DC, I mean, they held their music off streaming services until 2015. They only went on iTunes in 2012. So they held out. Now they've got 3 songs that are over 2 billion: Thunderstruck, Highway to Hell, Back in Black. I think You Shook Me All Night Long's 1.5 billion.
Yeah, it's got to be up there.
So, you know, there's what, The Weeknd, Ed Sheeran, Taylor Swift, Adele, a bunch of others who are, you know, Drake and Kendrick, who have 3 billion, 2 billion, multiple tracks. But I can't think of another rock act that's got that many tracks that have hit that Spotify ceiling of over 2 billion.
And they're everywhere. You go to sporting events, you hear Thunderstruck and Back in Black, and
Thunderstruck would have to be the most played sports highlights package song of all time.
yeah, so many people.
I would put money on that.